This is Georgetown, the podcast. Georgetown County and the city. Georgetown is growing, changing, expanding, and blossoming. The Hammock Coast of South Carolina. It's a renaissance. This is Georgetown, the podcast. Here's your host, Scott Richards.
This is Georgetown, the podcast. I am Scott Richards, and I am pleased to tell you that Lauren Joseph is with us from Brookgreen Gardens. First of all, welcome.
I am so glad to be here.
Brookgreen, of course, is part of Georgetown County. I think everybody in the Myrtle Beach area knows about it, but if you're on the south end, if you're in Mount Pleasant, you may not be as familiar with this fabulous place. Brookgreen is really something special, not just for this area, but I think on the East Coast, there's nothing like it. So, Lauren, give us a little bit of a background of what is it and when did it start? Give us that big, broad picture.
Brookgreen Gardens has been here since 1931. We actually were founded by Archer and Anna Hyatt Huntington. And Anna was one of the premier sculptors in America all the way back in the 20s. As a woman, just very successful in the art world. And she and Archer met and fell in love and needed to find a place to spend winters out of New York and Connecticut for her health. So they came down to South Carolina and found this beautiful piece of property that is 4 old plantations.
Why did they pick South Carolina? Do you have any idea?
It was a better climate in the wintertime, still warm. And also during that time in our history in Georgetown County, all of these huge old plantations were no longer growing rice. They'd gone out of business and they were being turned into hunting areas.
Oh, all right.
And several, actually Bernard Baruch had been to New York and telling everybody, you've got to come down to South Carolina and buy a plantation. There was a lot of buzz about these huge, beautiful tracts of land in the New York City area. And the Huntingtons heard about it and came down actually went to Georgetown, came up the river, and stepped out onto this property from the riverside and were immediately enchanted.
When they started, was it a summer home? Was it a place or winter home, I guess? And how did it become what it is today?
When it started, absolutely. It was going to be their retreat, their winter home. And honestly, in reading some of the letters that Anna had written to her sister, they just fell in love with it. And it was so beautiful. And some of the old gardens from the old Brookgreen plantation were still here, the bones of it. And Anna just really thought, we need to make this a beautiful place. She started thinking about, I've got sculpture I could put over there or over there. And then Archer, they were both environmentalists very early. And so Archer is looking around at this beautiful land and the nature and the wildlife. They bought the property in 1930. By 1931, they formed a nonprofit organization, Brookgreen Gardens, a society for the preservation of flora and fauna. And then they started putting Anna's sculptures in and then decided, hey, let's get some other people's sculptures too.
When did they turn it into people are invited to come and spend time here?
1932, almost immediately. Part of turning it into a place where people could come, they were such philanthropists. They wanted to put the people here to work. Because what was happening in the country in the early 1930s?
Right. We were in the middle of the Depression.
In the middle of the Depression, there were a lot of people who actually lived on this property, who had lived on this property all their lives. There was no work. There was no health care. There was no electricity. There was very little education. So Mr. Huntington started building to actually give people jobs. They built a clinic. They staffed it with doctors and a nurse. They built a school, staffed that. They were really the ones who brought electricity to the Waccamaw to the Murrells Inlet area.
And we have to remember that in 1931, 1932, there was virtually nothing north of Brookgreen. Georgetown was there, however.
Exactly.
So that was the port where people would come in, right?
Exactly. Yes. Georgetown County, before the Civil War was the wealthiest area in the United States because of all of the rice plantations that were here. After that, it became one of the poorest. There were all these folks that needed to work, and the Huntingtons came and put them to work.
So let's bring it forward a little bit. When did Brookgreen become sort of what we know it is today as a, I want to say tourist attraction, but it really is for locals as well as tourists. But when did it become that?
I've been coming to Brookgreen since I was like 2 years old. But really, they wanted people to come and enjoy, the sculptures. The other reason that Anna brought more sculpture in besides her own was because, again, the Depression, all of these wonderful and amazing artists across the country were losing commissions, and people who had been commissioning them to put art in their gardens weren't doing that anymore. So Anna and Archer started doing that. And they wanted everybody to enjoy the gardens as much as they did. It wasn't until the 70s that we actually started charging admission, even though the Huntingtons did leave money to kind of help Brookgreen. If you take out of a savings account for the entire life of that savings account and never put anything back in, you're going to run out.
Yes, right.
So it became necessary in order just to keep the gardens up and be able to employ people to keep the gardens up. It became necessary to start charging admission.
You're watching or listening to Georgetown, the podcast.
Briefly, how big is Brookgreen? And we're going to jump into events pretty quick, but I want people that are not familiar, it's more than gardens. Sort of explain what we have today.
So the entire property of Brookgreen is over 9,000 acres. That's
a big place.
It's a big place. The property that you can kind of explore during the day without taking one of our excursions is about 300 acres. It's a lot of walking. Our ticket is good for 7 days because there really just is no way to see it all in one day. One of the first things you're going to come to is our main sculpture garden. It is a formal garden with, beautiful art throughout. We have 4 different art galleries in that garden. One of them, the Rosen Galleries, is a changing gallery. So we have 3 traveling exhibits every year. Right now, we've got the National Sculpture Society exhibit, their annual awards exhibit. And then if you start exploring, you'll find a low country history area where we really talk about the history of the property. We really give homage to those enslaved folks who actually built the property and maintained it for so long, talking about the Gullah Geechee culture. So that's all super interesting. And then you can keep walking down the Low Country Trail to the animal areas. So the first one that you're going to come to is the Floyd Family Farm. It's heritage breeds of animals that you would have found on a farm in the 1800s in this area.
Right.
And then stroll on through there and you'll get to the Low Country Zoo. And our zoo is not going to be a zoo where you're going to see giraffes and lions. You're going to see the native animals of our area. Otters, foxes, some raptors. We do have a wonderful red wolf exhibit that we are partnering with the Red Wolf SAFE program, which stands for Saving Animals from Extinction. You can also see our ancient alligator, usually outsunning himself, Cowboy.
There's so much in terms of sculpture, But at any given time of the year, it changes in terms of the fauna, the flowers,
Yes.
the natural habitat.
Our horticulture team is fantastic, just so amazing. We do 2 seasonal changeouts. There's a complete annual changeout, twice a year. And then the other thing that is so exciting that is coming up so soon is our new conservatory. The Purdy Conservatory will be opening that to the public in January. We'll have year-round indoor horticulture exhibits.
Beautiful.
Also sculptures. It's going to be a changing sculpture garden inside.
That kind of brings us to what's coming up, because there's always something, but it seems to me that maybe once we get to September, things start picking up. Let's talk about events. You've got several coming up.
As we wind down Summer Light, this is the last week of Summer Light. As we wind down Summer Light, we'll be picking up with a thing that we started a couple of years ago called Art After Hours. Mm-hmm. So on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, we'll just stay open late, and you'll be able to come out to Brookgreen to have dinner at Harvest Restaurant, which is fabulous. Our galleries will be open. For a lot of folks, they work during the day. They can't come see the National Sculpture Society exhibit. So come out one evening and have dinner at Harvest and then go to the NSS exhibit. We'll take that through the 1st of October. Then that first weekend in October is a huge family favorite, Harvest Home Weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Pumpkins and scarecrow making. It's so much fun to watch the families out there making scarecrows and hay mazes and live entertainment. So that's so much fun. Also in the fall, we have in September the Gullah Geechee Junkanoo.
Yes.
And there's some arts and crafts there.
Right.
That's going to be the 13th. Our fall plant sale. You want to get plants that you know are going to work in your yard.
And these aren't plants that you went somewhere and bought. These are plants that are all propagated there.
Most of them are propagated here. We do bring some in, but most of them are propagated here, and they're native plants. And it's on the 20th of September.
Right.
Also, all of our horticulturists are out there. So if you walk up and you're like, what should I plant? They'll walk around with you and help you pick some out.
And then
then Nights of 1,000 Candles.
Remind me when the first one was. I think I was there.
This will be our 23rd year.
Yeah.
The first year was 1999, and that year it was actually called the Luminaria Festival.
Oh.
And the following year, it became Nights of 1,000 Candles in 2020.
We need to describe what this is.
Yeah.
One of the most sought after happenings at Brookgreen.
It really is. 2 of the Saturdays in December are already sold out.
You can go any night, and it's the same program.
Exactly.
Nights of 1,000 Candles. Yes, there's lots of candles, but
Nights of 1,000 Candles is our biggest fundraiser of the year. It is what has helped us be able to expand mission areas and helps feed our animals in the zoo and helps keep the grass cut and the flowers blooming. But it is just amazing. More lights than you can possibly imagine.
Right.
And millions of little white lights. Over 2,000 hand-lit candles. Now, of course, if it rains, we can't have candles, but we've still got sparkly lights everywhere. Different themes in the different garden rooms. So different color combinations as you move through the gardens. And one of the things that really sets us apart is a lot of gardens will call a lighting company to come in and do their lighting.
Right.
Ours is done by our team internally. We're not trying to cover up what's there. We're trying to enhance what's there. We want you to see the sculpture at night. We want you to see the art that you're walking through. It's one of the most romantic, I think, events.
Magical. Spiritual. Christmas.
Yes, there's music, there's food. It's a family tradition for so many people, and we have so many proposals every year. That's the call I get every year that breaks my heart. When you get this young man who's calling, on December the 5th, trying to get tickets for the next night because he's planning to propose. And I'm like, honey, you should have planned this better.
Let's point out that this is a ticketed event,
It is ticketed
day specific. I think we added a couple of nights this year.
This year, we're going to have 22 nights, I believe. And we
Right.
go all the way into January, that first week in
Right after
January.
Christmas.
And we start the day after Thanksgiving.
I will tell you that I have been there on perfect nights, and I've been there when it's raining a little bit. It doesn't seem to matter. It's that kind of place. And there's plenty of places that are inside or covered. So
Right.
you'll have good coverage.
One of the things that people love is the trains, the
Sure.
train exhibit is amazing.
The whole thing
Mhm.
is something to experience. And for people that have not been, or people that have been, tickets are available now. Let's point out the best way to do that.
Tickets are available now on our website, www.brookgreen.org. I will caution people, do not buy tickets from anywhere but Brookgreen Gardens website.
Right. Yeah, that's an issue with a lot of venues. Brookgreen.org.
Brookgreen.org. Yes.
Let's tell people what the tickets cost, because if you're paying more than this, you're not paying the right price.
Well, and some people are paying the right price, but they're not paying the price to the
It's not going to get you in.
It's not coming to Brookgreen.
Right.
Yes. So members is $35 for an adult and $15 for a child, and non-members are $40 for an adult and $20 for a child.
And I will tell you, that's the best money you're going to spend at Christmas. I do recommend get there early, watch the sun come down, plenty of things to do.
Plenty.
And if you're interested in having dinner at the Harvest Restaurant,
make reservations.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, you can't walk in.
This year, we are moving our holiday tree lighting earlier.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be starting right around 6:15.
Okay.
And for anyone who doesn't know, our holiday tree is a live China fir that anchors our arboretum. And it is almost 80 feet tall. So it is the height of the tree at Rockefeller Center. When those lights get turned on, the entire arboretum area goes from dark to blinding sunlight almost.
We invite people to Nights of 1,000 Candles. And again, the first night, I'm guessing that might be sold out the day after Thanksgiving. Not sure, but no, not yet. Oh, make a note, because it will. Saturdays are the toughest, but they're all great. Lauren, Brookgreen Gardens is such a big part of Georgetown County. Georgetown County itself is exploding. We call it a renaissance. You live in Georgetown, right?
I do. I absolutely do. And I think your first guest was my husband.
Yes, he was. Al has got a long history. Just to see what's happening in Georgetown is amazing. And for Brookgreen Gardens to be a part of it is, well, it's an anchor, and it's wonderful.
It's exciting. So, it's a great place to be.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us on Georgetown, the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching or listening to Georgetown, the podcast. Learn more about the Hammock Coast and Georgetown. Read Georgetown Magazine in print, pick one up around Georgetown and along the Carolina coast. Or digitally, visit readgeorgetownmag.com.